Hello and welcome. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator and this is the Phoenix Airbus A320. And in today's episode we are going to look at hydraulics. This will be the last episode of this mini-series where we looked at different systems. We've already looked at electrics, pneumatics, and today we'll cover hydraulics. I will put the link of all the other videos into the description. So yeah, hydraulics, a lot to go through. Let's get started. Okay, so first I would like to look at the architecture of the hydraulic system. We have three hydraulic systems: green, blue and yellow. Very easy. I guess Airbus thought if you want to name something for pilots, keep it easy, and that's great because that's exactly what I want. So important, these systems are completely independent. You cannot transfer liquid between these systems. Very important. The only thing you can do is transfer pressure between them. We're going to look at this in a moment. So first I want to look at the green system. So here at the bottom we have the reservoir where we have all our hydraulic liquid, and above that we have a shutoff valve. By the way, the shutoff valve is connected to these buttons here. I think people often confuse this with fire suppression or something. This is not what these buttons do. Essentially what you do is you lift the cover, push the button, and what that does is it completely isolates the engine from the aircraft. No more fuel, no more hydraulic liquid, no more air, nothing. It's completely isolated from the aircraft, and this in itself will sometimes already extinguish the fire. So that's how the shutoff valve works. After the shutoff valve we have an engine-driven pump. Engine number 1 is driving a pump here, and that is essentially pressurizing the green system. After the engine pump we have an accumulator. Now an accumulator is present in each hydraulic system, and essentially it is a way to maintain a constant pressure because the demands on the system vary. Sometimes we need a lot of pressure, sometimes not so much. And the accumulator has hydraulic liquid in it, and if we need more liquid for higher pressure or higher demand, we can get it from there, and if we need less, it goes back into the accumulator. So essentially an accumulator is here to maintain a constant pressure in the system. Okay, so now let's look at the yellow hydraulic system. This one is a lot more complex. I will come back to that in a minute. Once again, we have the reservoir, and if we move up, you can see the black square with the red cross. So we have another shutoff valve, once again connected to the fire button in the cockpit. Above that, once again, an engine-driven pump, this time by engine number 2. So that drives the whole system. But you can also see to the right we have a electric pump. I put in a white E for electric. And this electric pump is very important because when the engines are switched off and you need to open the cargo doors or do anything else, you need some hydraulic pressure. And this is where this electric pump comes in. If the aircraft is connected to ground power or the APU is running, then this electric pump will run the yellow hydraulic system. And so it comes as no surprise that things like cargo doors are all powered by the yellow hydraulic system. You can see there's another thing on the left called hand pump. So this is if the electrical system fails, the engines are off, you have a little pump that you can use to open the cargo door. So if everything else fails, there's this little lever you can put in and you start pumping, and that will open the cargo doors. I've never done it myself, but I've spoken to people who have, and they say it's really hard work. So not something you want to do, especially on a rainy, cold day. Above all that, once again, we have an accumulator. The role is exactly the same as it was on the green hydraulic system. Now let's look at the blue hydraulic system. Once again we start with a reservoir. Now this time we have no shutoff valve because the system is actually not connected to any engine. Instead you can see there are two ways to power up this system. One is once again an electric pump. Once again, I put in a white E for electric, and on the other hand we have the RAT, the Ram Air Turbine. You may remember we've discussed the RAT in the electrics video. It's essentially a small windmill that pops out of the belly of the aircraft. So when you're flying, it starts spinning and it provides power, and with this power it can drive a small pump, and that pump will power up the blue hydraulic system. So what that means is, even if you lose both engines, you still have the RAT, and that will still provide you with hydraulic power. And so at the top now we can see that the yellow and green system are somewhat connected. Like I said earlier, this is not a physical connection. There's no liquid passing through that connection, but what is passing through is pressure. And that pressure is transferred by the PTU, the Power Transfer Unit. And you will all be familiar with the PTU because this is that annoying thing that makes that barking sound on the ground or sometimes even in the air. So what is happening is the PTU is constantly measuring the hydraulic pressure between yellow and green, and if the discrepancy becomes more than 500 psi, it will transfer pressure to the system with the lower psi to essentially equalize the hydraulic pressure between the two systems. And this is what you can hear in the cabin, because the PTU is located just under the floorboards in the cabin, and it makes this weird barking sound. So what that means for us is, if we, for example, lose an engine in flight, let's say engine number 1, it doesn't really matter because engine number 2 is still running and the PTU is pressurizing the green hydraulic system. So hydraulics wise, a engine failure is a non-event. Everything works as normal. So where does the hydraulic liquid go from here? Well, it goes to all the users. So you can think of things like ailerons and rudder and spoilers and yaw dampers and the nose wheel steering, etc, etc. It's actually quite complicated what happens after this, because there are some leak measurement valves, there are also some priority valves. So if the pressure gets low, it starts prioritizing certain systems. It's quite complex, but actually everything beyond this point is more maintenance related and abnormal related. This part of the system is really what you as the pilot should have in your head and should understand. So I think when it comes to hydraulic, I'll leave it here, and we will now go into the cockpit. So now that we have a basic understanding of the hydraulics, let's take a look at what all of this looks like in the aircraft. So down here we press hydraulics, and as you can see, this pretty much looks like what we've just discussed. So down here we have the reservoirs. Now, in case you don't know what all these means, so this arrow here shows you the actual level of liquid in the reservoir. The reservoir is depicted by this little green square here. So what you need to do is make sure that the liquid levels are all here in the green. If you lose hydraulic liquid and it reaches this level down here, so this orange square, that means you're in the low level range and you are going to get a warning. Now be aware that these indicators are only really valid on the ground, because when you're airborne and let's say you put up the gear after takeoff, you will find that this level here will go all the way down till here. And also during flight, the hydraulic liquid is in a different configuration than on the ground, and the liquid will be in different systems, so these may actually show different levels. Sometimes this here especially is down here. This is perfectly normal, but on the ground you should have this picture here. That means everything is in order. Here we have the shutoff valves that we've discussed earlier, and here we have the pumps. Now they are offline now because the engines are switched off. So here we have engine number 1, engine number 2, and you can see here we have the electric pump. The same here on the blue system, we have an electric pump. Again, everything is offline right now because the engines are switched off, and I also haven't started the APU yet. The RAT is positioned here on this display. As discussed earlier, this can supply the blue hydraulic system with pressure, and here we have the PTU that connects the green and the yellow system. Please note again, the blue system is not connected to the PTU. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, if we go up here, I'm gonna start the yellow ELEC pump. So we can see here, this is the panel, the hydraulic panel. Again, it's very similar to what we've just discussed. The hydraulic system on the A320 is pretty much fully automatic, so there's not much for you to do up here. But you can see you can switch on and off the pumps that are run by the engines. And we have the electric pump for the blue system, and I'm now going to switch on the electric pump for the yellow system. And if we come down here, we can see a few things have changed. So the ELEC pump is now shown that it's online, and the PTU is now supplying pressure to both green and yellow systems. This, by the way, is what's gonna cause a lot of noise in the cabin now until these are equalized. So it's a bit annoying, and usually this configuration is not really done when we're on the ground. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. I'm pretty sure the Phoenix does this right, but I'm not sure, although you know, we know the Phoenix A320. So far it has never let us down. So we're on the ground power is connected, the GPU is connected, and what we're going to do now is we say to the ground staff they can open the cargo doors, and they're going to open forward and aft. And if we look here, yes, that's correct. So the ELEC pump comes online, powers the yellow hydraulic system, and this is now going to open the cargo doors. So the cargo doors are connected to the yellow system, and this is the reason why we have the ELEC pump. So even with the engine switched off, we can now open the cargo doors. So doors are open, the pump comes offline, the power drops, the pressure drops, and there we are, doors are open. Perfect. Okay, so APU is running, we have disconnected the ground power, and the beacon lights are on, and with this configuration we can now start one of the engines. I would say let's just start engine number 1 first. It doesn't really matter too much. Engine 1 start, and let's see what happens. Okay, engine number 1 is running, and as you can see in this configuration, engine number 1 is just driving its pump, and the green system is running the whole show. The PTU is offline because we have everything we need connected to the green system to taxi out, and this is the reason why if you perform an one engine out taxi, you usually should start engine number 1. Now let's start engine number 2. Okay, engine number 2 is running now, and this is the normal hydraulic configuration we want to see. Everything is green, the PTU is offline, and the engine driven pumps are running the whole hydraulic system. Okay, we have just taken off and we are climbing out, and I'm now gonna put up the gear. So we look at the hydraulics and let's see what happens. Gear up. And as you can see, the pressure here drops. It's actually not that dramatic here in the Phoenix. In the real aircraft you will sometimes find it down here, but there is a significant drop, as you can see. So if you notice this, then please don't worry, this is perfectly normal, and this will often remain like this throughout the flight. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful, I hope you found it interesting, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, all the best. Bye bye.